Hi there. So, how not to get better? So, it's interesting to look at it from this side because sometimes, we talk a lot about how to get better and the things you need to be doing, but sometimes we need to look at maybe what you are doing at the moment that's actually preventing you from getting better. So, if you are struggling at the moment and feeling that your recovery is slow or you're not getting better at all, then um, just see if you are doing any of the following things. That's when you need to make a change. So let's have a look. So with the first one, which is probably the most obvious, is pushing yourself too hard. And this is actually incredibly easy to do. We all do it. I do it. I have done it in the past, and I still do it from time to time. And it's because basically in life, in society, we are kind of programmed to push ourselves beyond our limits. But we're not all Olympic athletes, we don't need to be doing that all the time, even when we don't have chronic fatigue syndrome. And to some extent, for people who are highly sensitive, pushing ourselves too much may be one of the contributing causes of getting chronic fatigue syndrome in the first place. So this is one of the things we really need to be kind of retraining our brain about and thinking, actually, I don't need to do that. And yes, of course, we want to still achieve things in life, and we have plans and things we want to do. But we have to create a real balance and still do the things we need to do, but without pushing ourselves, and recognizing when our body needs to stop and needs to rest, take a break. And in actual fact, when you do that, when you achieve that balance, you end up being far more effective and actually achieving more, because when you push yourself and then end up crashing and being exhausted all the time, you're not going to get anything done. So it's really important to get that balance and not push yourself all the time. Always know when you need to pull back, need to rest, and then you will find that you actually, in the long run, achieve more. Secondly, and it goes along with the first point really, expecting too much of yourself. So again, this is something we tend to be kind of programmed towards. We plan, we fill our diaries with things to do, things we feel are important, things we must get done. And then when we're too tired to do them or feel too ill to do them, we then feel guilty for not having finished our to-do list. Well, we need to look at our to-do list and think, well, is this really achievable given that I have chronic fatigue syndrome? How do we get around this? Well, obviously, first, as I've always said, you need to prioritize your own health. So look at the things that you want to do in a day and think, do I need to do every single thing on this list? Really prioritize, get into the habit of prioritizing the things that absolutely need to do, and combine those things with periods of rest. Make sure when you plan your day, you have periods of rest. That is really important for recovery from chronic fatigue. And on days when you've had something planned and you wake up and you feel absolutely awful, then have a look and change your plans. Make sure you do the simplest tasks if necessary. Get somebody else to help. Whatever it is you need, take a day off work. Whatever it is you need to do. Prioritize number one. Don't expect too much of yourself. Now, a third thing I would say is one of the reasons why people don't get better is giving up completely on exercise. And this is something that a lot of people do because of that post-exertion malaise and crashes that happen when you do too much activity. And it is something I did when I was originally diagnosed with chronic fatigue. I gave up on exercise for a while and it did not do me any good at all. Giving up on exercise does not help you recover from chronic fatigue, and in fact it can then cause further health problems, and for me it led to a really quite severe back problem for a while too. So again, with chronic fatigue, it's always about balance. So with exercise, and I do other videos about this before, and it's very much in my 8-week course as well. With exercise, you need to start at a very, very low level, less than what you feel you can do, and work up very, very slowly. So giving up on exercise completely is not a good idea. You need to do some, but it needs to be done really slowly. So have a look at ways of doing that in some of my other videos and in my course. Let's go on to diet now. One of the ways that may be preventing you from getting better is trying to give yourself energy by eating sugary snacks or lots of coffee. Now, I am not one of those people who would say you have to completely cut out these things altogether. I love my coffee. I have 1 coffee per day, maybe 2 on a Sunday as a special extra treat, and cakes, etc., occasional treats. It's a huge mistake to expect sugar to give you energy. It may give you a quick energy burst, but because refined sugars go into your bloodstream very quickly, what happens in your body is your blood sugars go right up and then they drop very quickly, and then they'll give you a low. And over time, those blood sugar peaks and lows are not good for your body and will create more fatigue and even worse health issues such as diabetes. So don't use sugar as an energy giver. What you need to do instead is eat sustained healthy food over a period of time. So snacking is better than binging. But really healthy things. And there are so many really good sugar substitutes now that are much healthier. So look out for these in supermarkets, health food shops, etc. But healthy whole foods, fruit and veg, whole grains, these are the way to go. And I'll probably say a lot more about diet in another video. So another way of not getting better is to be too independent and not accept support. And I will put my hand up with this one because I'm a highly independent person and I find it difficult to ask for or even accept support. And one of the things that I had to do, particularly at the time when my mother was living with me, she was going into the advanced stages of dementia, and I was struggling to cope with my health and looking after her. And I had an elderly dog at the time as well, so that didn't help. And somebody said to me, you need to ask your family for help. My brother and his wife, they don't live that far away, but I hated the thought of asking them for help because they're really busy people too. But I realised that she was probably right, so I went and had a meeting with my brother, and they were absolutely delighted that I asked them. And they came over and they looked after Mum while I had the occasional day off, and they've put in a lot of support since. It's difficult for people who are highly independent and want to do everything themselves. but it's very important that you do accept support and ask for support from those people who you know genuinely would like to give you support. Another really good way of not getting better is to sit waiting for the medical profession to come up with a cure, because you're going to be waiting a long time, and that's not meant to be a criticism of the medical profession. I don't know the ins and outs of what research is being done, but I do believe that chronic fatigue syndrome, because it's a collection of symptoms, is a very, very difficult thing to get to the bottom of. And that might be one of the reasons why it seems to be taking such a long time for doctors to even understand chronic fatigue or what causes it, let alone find a cure for it. And I'm not sure they ever will find a cure. So waiting for that to happen is really not the answer to recovering from chronic fatigue. You need to take things into your own hands and do what is necessary. So all the things I say in my videos, and you also have a look at my 8-week course, which is linked below, and you can get better without the medical profession. And that links into my final point, which is you are not going to get better if you believe that you can't get better. It's very important that you remain optimistic and believe that it is possible for you to recover from chronic fatigue syndrome. Many, many people have recovered, and if other people can recover, then so can you. Google stories about people who have recovered from chronic fatigue. You know, just instead of trying to find answers and cures, look at people who have recovered from chronic fatigue and see what they have done. And this will give you feelings of optimism about your own recovery, and it will give you ways and means of recovering yourself. So that's it for now. If you have any other points to make, then please feel free to write them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye for now.